Saludos and salutations, Broncos Country, and welcome back into another exciting episode of Broncos Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a good one for you today. After weeks and weeks, days, minutes, seconds, milliseconds, and whatever else follows, we are finally here, and we are so close to the start of the regular season. We can taste it on our fingertips. But first, we have to get through a little thing called preseason. Libre and I were just talking backstage about all the exciting action that's going to happen. That's why we are a little bit late. We do apologize. You can blame Bronco Libre because we got to blame him for something, right? I mean, the guy's awesome and he does a lot of stuff and that's cool and everything. But sometimes you got to say, hey, man, stop being so awesome. You know, could you imagine somebody coming up to Libre and say, hey, you got to stop being awesome? But ladies and gentlemen, regardless, we are back. We are getting ready and all things are on the table. What is to expected? Who can we see? Who will we not see? What can we expect to hear or even see? Even though I know it said see again, I don't care. But ladies and gentlemen, make sure your food is warm, your beer is cold, and you're strapped in because you do not want to miss a single second of today's show. With that being said, get ready because here we go.
Broncos talk, let's rock, feel the energy rise. From the microphone to the fans reaching the skies. Every episode a thrill and surprise. For the love of the game, we harmonize.
And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. I am getting my camera ready because I forgot to do it earlier. And I'm old. I forget a lot of stuff, okay? Leave me alone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Adan, and joining me to my left or right, depending on which direction you are watching, is my co-host, the incredible, amazing Bronco Libre. And you're not going to believe this, Libre, but your mic is cut. There we go. Now I hear you. Well, now I cut off again. I hear the click.
Oh, now.
Yeah, I hear you.
What's happening? Let's go.
Oh, man. You know what? Even though when you mouthed the words, I still heard it in my head. The what's happening?
You know, like I don't know if anyone caught last night's episode. They're at the tail end of with Johnny Baki and whatnot, and I just commented that, and he just had to go out there and say, "I'm trying to put in my inner Cheech Marin. Let me just see if I could do it." And he actually did a good job on it, so I'm proud of him. Good job, Johnny.
You know what? We give Johnny Baki a lot of flack on this show, but that's because we love Johnny Baki. Or as my car likes to say, Johnny Bakey.
Bakey. You're getting a phone call from Johnny Bakey.
Johnny Bakey. Yeah, he thinks I forgot about that.
That's hilarious.
That will live with me for the rest of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time here, if it's not your first time here, welcome back. If it is, welcome back.
Bienvenido.
Bienvenidos, exactly. We have a very exciting show for you guys here today. We cannot wait to get started with the topic of today's show. But first, as we do before every single show, we got a couple of things we got to get out of the way as we do just before Libre takes the mic and I go take a break from talking so much for the next 5-ish minutes.
Thank you.
First, we would like to ask you to please subscribe to the Orange and Blue Network. Subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all of the shows you guys see here on the network. If there's something that we did not answer, a question you might have, if you weren't able to ask it while we were live on the air, no problemo. Just leave a comment or a question on this video on the YouTube network stream, and we will get to you as quick as we can. Also, please subscribe over to the MHRT station. Subscribe, share, comment, and like. They have a lot of great and awesome programming there as well. And it's a simulcast, so we are on both shows at the exact same time. So please make sure you go show some love to them. Also, ladies and gentlemen, today's show is brought to you by our good friends over at Dubby. Ladies and gentlemen, you might be asking yourself, what exactly is Dubby? Well, I'm here to tell you. Dubby is basically formulated to give you guys focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented neurofactor formula. It contains no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors. Ladies and gentlemen, as we like to say around here, it is literally all the good stuff without all of the bad. As you see on your screen right now, if you're watching us live, they have a lot of amazing and delicious flavors, and they have a variety for your taste buds. They will thank you. I promise you that. And to show you just how better, to make it better, a deal, the guys over at the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast, which airs every single Tuesday here on the Orange and Blue Network, would like to give you guys the awesome 10% discount when you use the code NRWOB10 at checkout. Again, that code is NRWOB10 to get your 10% off at checkout. Shout out to the guys over at the Nothing Rhymes with for the 10% hookup, and shout out to Dubby for being a continued sponsor of this and all the shows here on the Orange and Blue networks. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. For anybody listening to us in the audio format, whether it's iTunes, Amazon, wherever it is, please, 5-star ratings are very much appreciated. If you'd like to send a screenshot and send it to our socials, our Twitter handles are right there at the bottom of the screen. Mine is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5218. So we would like to be happy to shout you guys out for leaving us such great reviews on the audio stream. Also, shout out to our TikTok audience, if there's anybody still here.
There you go. My buddy Josh Cordova, thank you for liking it up. Let's go.
Appreciate you guys liking the stream and showing some love. If you guys have questions or comments you'd like for us to read on the air during the show, we will be more than happy to answer them. And we would also like to give you guys the schedule for the upcoming shows this season. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m., we have the Orange and Blue Blitz. On Mondays, we have Broncos Bros at 7 p.m. The Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue, the flagship show, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Broncos Talk, which you're currently watching, at 6 p.m. Fridays, we have Viva Los Broncos, the all-Spanish podcast show. I will have an announcement to make on that just very briefly, so we're that. Broncos, for any breaking news, we have the Fresh Squeeze, which just hits the airwaves just as the news hits Broncos Country. And every game day, 1 hour before kickoff, we have the Get Bucked pregame show, which airs just before every game day with all the guys, and we break it down for you guys to get you guys ready for the action of that day, that game's day. And then right after that game, regardless of the result, we have the Buck Your Feelings post-game show with very limited to no cursing. I think Johnny lets us curse like once or twice before we go on the air, or maybe
it's like every 6 months or something.
Yeah, I think it's in our contract. I don't know. I'm going to have to check. But again, about Viva Los Broncos, ladies and gentlemen, Libre and I, unfortunately, were not able to live stream the last 2 Fridays. So we just wanted to say that first of all, we'd like to apologize to all our Spanish viewers out there for that. But the one thing that I love about being on this network is that if any one of us has got something going on, we all understand, whether it's myself, Libre, or anybody. So unfortunately, we were not able to stream because in order for us to do that show, it's like a triangle, and all 3 parts of that triangle, I know it's a bad triangle, but all 3 parts of that triangle have to align. So when one of those corners isn't up to par or is not able to do it, then it just won't get done. So again, we do apologize. We will be back on the air. Unfortunately, I have something going on this weekend, so I will not be here. So unfortunately, we will not be on the air again this week. But We will come back on the air next week on the, let me check the date just to make sure, the 15th of August. We will be back. I will put out an announcement on Friday saying the exact same thing. Maybe a video in Spanish would probably be better because you can only put so many characters on Twitter before they tell you to shut the hell up. So from Libre and myself, we would like to apologize to you guys for not being able to come to you and fulfill our obligation as your host. And there's another person I want to blame, but I can't. Because I love him to death. It's this guy's fault. So I will take the blame for that. But I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back, and we will be back soon, and we will be back better than ever.
Si, senor.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk preseason football. Libre, who are we playing this Saturday?
The San Francisco 49ers. And you know what? The best part about this right now, what I love this, like, and it's not like, and I don't know if the NFL did this for a reason or not, but guess what? We have Greenlaw and Tufunga going back to where they came from. And what a storyline this is.
Not to interrupt you, but I almost forgot one thing. Shout out to Broncos World Order. When you scroll and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll and you scroll down or up your timeline, you would see or find that we've almost got everything in the whole world. Denver Broncos. We are powered by Broncos World Order. And we would like to say a sincere thanks to everybody that's coming through from there. And we would like to let you guys know to please hit them up on Facebook. They are the biggest Broncos group on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. So please make sure you guys give them a follow. My high salute to everybody watching us from there. We love you. We thank you. Go Broncos.
Well, let's go to the next comment real quick. I want to shout out to my boy Fanatic Dak as well. What's up, fellas?
Fanatic Dak, what is going on, brother?
Thank you for coming into the live here, brother.
Yeah. Shy Vargas, happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday to you, brother Shy. Let's go.
Yeah, bust out the tequila, man. You know what, Libre? I didn't mean to interrupt your
yeah, it's all good
there. But I got to tell you, I think that out of all the new caricatures we got, I think mine came out like the weirdest because I look like something that that didn't make it to a Disney movie.
You're the reject.
Yeah, pretty much. Meanwhile, you, Johnny, Dak, everybody else, you guys look fantastic. And there I am, just like, okay.
Hey, you know what? It's a work in progress, so it'll get there.
Yeah, I love it though. But just piggybacking off of your comment, Libre. As much as I want to be Kyle Shanahan, I know we're not going to see your George Kittles and any of his stars. Hell, we're not even going to see Purdy. I don't think so. He might come out for maybe a quarter, maybe a drive.
Well, and that's going to be the same thing with the Broncos as well. Even though I know that Sean Payton said that the starters are going to be out there, but you just have to remember, how long are they really going to be out there? Is it just one series? Is it going to be two series? It's not. We're not going to see the starters out there very long. So it's just something to get out there, get their feet wet, get into the groove and the week-to-week, day-to-day for the upcoming season. It's just getting them ready for that. And really what a lot of people don't understand what the preseason really is for these kids that do not have an actual starting position itself. It's to have them solidify themselves as being a backup on this team. And if they're not a backup on this team, they're putting film together so that another team can pick them up because we're going to end up cutting them. Hopefully some of those kids will get picked up on the practice squad itself, but a good majority of them are not going to make the team. So they're just putting out film there for any other team that might be lacking in a certain position or whatever. They might be thin at a certain position, and they're just putting their film out there so that they can get picked up from another team itself. So you have to remember that. And we saw that last Thursday when we saw the Chargers and the Lions play, because I was so happy for football to be season, but then I remember this is the first game of this season, and this game sucks.
I gotta tell you, talking about the Hall of Fame game, every time you see it, it just makes me like, it reminds me just how important your second and your third team players have to be, because watching the second and third string Lions players get lit up by Trey Lance looked like freaking Tom Brady out there.
Yeah.
And and the Chargers were kind of mixed up. They were a couple ones and a couple twos, if I'm not mistaken. I think I heard the announcer say that the number of the offensive line starters actually played for like a drive or two before they were finally switched out. So it is very important for players, especially the college players, the drafted players that came into the league this year, to kind of get their feet wet. Because yes, they've kind of had a taste at training camp so far, but at training camp, there's kind of, it's not being played at like the NFL pace per se, because a lot of obviously the defensive players rushing the quarterback, they pull back. They don't actually tackle the quarterback like he's supposed to, and all that stuff. So you're going to see your Genties, and I want to say that we'll see a little bit of Hufanga out there, especially playing against his old team. Drake Greenlaw, somebody asked me today if I think Drake Greenlaw is going to play. I don't think so. I think his he's not technically injured, but they don't want to take any risks. If Drake Greenlaw does play, I want to say he plays maybe next week, second week of preseason. Third week, we know no starters play. That's like an extra rest week. So especially since they don't do the 4 weeks of preseason anymore, there's just like that really awkward preseason bye week for some reason before the start of the season with Thursday Night Football. So I do hope he does play, just to kind of get him acclimated to the Broncos defensive system, get him acclimated to how Vance Joseph runs this defense. And I got to tell you guys, the thing that I've been really impressed with is the amount of videos, the amount of people, analysts and what have you, that are all of a sudden paying attention to the Broncos. And it's not just like your people just bandwagon jumpers. No. This is people actually taking Denver seriously, except for one person. There's only one person that still isn't on the Broncos bandwagon, and that's Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A., I have my thoughts about Stephen A., and I can't say them on the air because Johnny told me I can't curse. But just that alone should tell you what I think about Stephen A. and his theory. And when he bandwagon jumps, and believe me, he will, because the Broncos are going to make his top 5. You know how he always does that thing on Tuesdays where he names the top 5 teams?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Broncos are definitely going to be a top 5 team. And when he does, I want to hear that bass and passion in his voice when he says Denver.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you. Stephen A. Smith is the type of guy, like, you love to hate him only because of the fact that if he's on your team, you love him because he's all about your team. But when he's not on your team, then you hate him no matter what. But me and my son, like, we always talk about this, especially with the Nuggets. Like, for some reason, he hates the Nuggets and all that. And even with the Broncos, like, and that's one thing, like, I can't stand him. I don't really take his takes to heart because they're not valid, because he's not a true fan, or he's not like a true, so quote unquote reporter that's supposed to be super unbiased. He's just all about who's the playing right now, who's the top teams right now, and that's all he's jumping on. And we're going to see it this year. You're going to see that he's going to be all over Denver, all over that Denver D. So take it how you want to take it. But
exactly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's one thing is we're going to hear it all season, and I can't take him seriously at all because of his takes.
Mm-hmm. And your cousin saying, "What's up, guys? Long time no see. Saturday can't get here fast enough."
Agreed with you 100%, Primo. Let's go.
Thank you so much for being here on the show. We appreciate your support, and we can't either. And I was so excited, and Libre will testament to this. I thought the Broncos were playing on Sunday. And he had to correct me and say, no, they're playing on Saturday.
The funny thing, because we were backstage right before we came on, and he was like, "All right, so Libre, who are we playing on Sunday?" And my response was, "We're not playing anybody on Sunday." And like the look on his face, he was like, what are you talking about? Like, come on, bro. Like the first game is this weekend. Let's go. I go, yeah, it's Saturday. But yeah.
So that was on me, man. That was on me. But regardless, what I expect to see here is I want to see commitment, because one of the hardest things for Sean Payton to do for the next 3 weeks is find the best players to play second string. Again, what I said earlier is the Hall of Fame game is always, and not just the Hall of Fame game, but every preseason game going forward is really crucial, because when your star player goes down, obviously the next man up is not going to be anywhere near the caliber of the starting player, but you want to try to get as close as possible to that, So that's why this preseason, this season in general, is very important. And knock on wood that we have been able to avoid the serious injury bug the last couple of seasons, whereas before that, 5 years ago, you guys remember the Vic Fangio year where he was literally grabbing players from the practice squad and whoever walked outside in front of the stadium that day, because we had more injured players than anything. Libre, your mic went off again.
I was just saying,
yeah,
it's not working. Okay, yeah.
No, yeah.
I was saying that I was hoping that I was able to walk right next to him, because I wanted to be picked up during those years, because I remember that, man. I was like, come on, coach, I can still play. Even though my body's telling me no, I can do it mentally. Let's go.
Oh, man, I don't know. I could not see myself lined up against a guy like Viva.
Come on, bro. It's all mentality. Let's go. Mind over matter.
Are you kidding me? Vita Vea is one of my favorite defensive tackles, man. The way, and since we're talking about defensive tackles, I saw so much disrespect when Zach Allen got his contract extension, and there were people that had the nerve to say, "Who is that?" Like, seriously, and not even trolling, like dead serious. Did not know who Zach Allen was.
So you have to know that these people as well that were saying that are not true football fans. They don't understand the
really
game.
Don't.
They're just casually watching this, and then this comes to a lot of Bronco fans as well that don't know who the players are or whatnot. But I did see this one article as well that during that trade when we got him from Arizona, and then when we sent Draymond Green to Seattle, or Draymond Jones. When we sent Draymond Jones out to Seattle and whatnot, they were saying at the time, people were going crazy. It's like, no, why are you going to do that? We need to re-sign Draymond Jones. He's doing wonderful here. Let's get him done. Let's get that done. And Zach Allen at that point was, he didn't know that if he was going to make the NFL at all, because of how he and this is a story that he actually put out, and you can see it on all the socials as well. He's saying, man, I didn't know if I was even going to make the NFL because I was so bad. I didn't feel like I did well. I thought I was going to go bagging groceries here soon, have an office job, do something like that. But then he got the call that he made it like there at the very last moment. He got that call saying, hey, you're on the team, and everything's went uphill from there. If you go back now and look at the stats, look at what Zach Allen has done compared to Draymond Jones. And now tell me, did the Broncos make the right move? And yes, we did. And look the crazy thing too is like they put out the salaries as well. It's like Zach Allen got $104 million extension, and Draymond Jones just re-signed. I think he's just signed with somebody. I can't remember who it was, but for a league, for a veteran minimum, like very low amount. He goes, yep, Zach Allen did win this trade itself, or the acquisition of him coming to Denver, and Draymond being let go. Like, it was the best move possible, because now Draymond Jones is now a journeyman basically in the NFL as that defensive end.
And I will say another travesty is the fact that Zach Allen is not rated a 90 something player on Madden. Like,
I really hate Madden's thing. It doesn't make any sense. Like how, like even with PS2, even though PS2 is the highest rated cornerback in the league at 97 in the game,
can't get
but he's
99.
your defensive player of the year. Like how could you not give him a 99? That's why I like Madden. I'm frustrated with Madden. I stopped playing years ago as well because it just frustrates me. Yeah, they'll go back in like later on in the season, depending on how they're doing, and they'll update their numbers and whatnot. But
Mhm.
their initial ratings are booty.
Yeah. Fanatic Dak jumping in saying, I wanted to keep Jones in Denver, but it worked out for Denver. Zach Allen.
There you
Ladies
go,
and
bro.
gentlemen, in case you didn't know, Fanatic Dak is one half of the Broncos Bros that airs
What's up,
every
bro?
single Monday here on the Orange and Blue Network. So, guys, if you haven't done so, make sure you guys go check them out. Hit that sub button so you guys get live notifications of every single time they go live on Monday nights.
So just with going off of that, I did hear on Monday evening that they are going to be doing a second show or whatnot. It's going to be Broncos Bro After Dark. That's rumors. It's rumors, but that's something what I've heard.
So that's what that text message I saw was about. Because I didn't get it at first, but now that you mention it, now it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes.
Oh man. But ladies and gentlemen, I actually felt the same way as Fanatic Dak. I felt that letting Draymond Jones walk was going to maybe come back and bite Denver in the butt. But that was before they went and got Zach Allen. Zach Allen leaving Arizona was probably the worst thing to happen to the Cardinals, but the best thing to happen for Zach Allen because he definitely wasn't happy there. And him coming to Denver and doing what he has been doing for the last couple seasons he's been here on the team has been anything but incredible. And to respond to those people who said they didn't know who the hell Zach Allen was, I said, go Google the sack record from last year. Who had the sack record? Who led the team? Who led the league in sacks? And you
Zach
tell me who that
Allen.
was. Zach Allen. And the man was out there even with not a broken foot, but he had a foot injury, and the man was still out there. Imagine, not even at 100%, and that man was still out there beating tackles and guards, eating them for breakfast. Now, if that doesn't tell you anything about that man's demeanor and character for this team, I don't know what else to tell you. But Zach Allen is a very, very definite, important piece to this team. Now, I will say, Libre, I think the only player that's still not signed is John Franklin Myers. Is that correct?
That is correct. And also Nick Bonito.
And Nick Bonito. Well, I'm pretty sure Nick Bonito's going to get his contract extension. There's no way that they don't do anything with him.
I agree with you 100% with that. They will re-sign Nick Bonito. Mm-hmm. My fear is that if Franklin, he's not going to get signed.
No, I don't think he's going to get it.
He's not going to get re-signed. He's not going to get the deal unless he wants to stay here and win a championship with us, which I feel that we're going to be able to do here soon. He's going to take the hometown discount that we're going to be looking for. But if we're not going to do that here for him, like, yes, he's going to be gone, unfortunately, after this year.
Yeah. Quick shout out to D-Rock saying, Adan and Libre. Mahai,
what's happening, D-Rock?
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your support. Your cousin jumping in saying, what you guys think of this defense being better than Super Bowl 50 defense? I think they have a good chance. You know what?
I'll take this real quick. Let me take this one first. So I know you've missed a couple of our shows because of work and whatnot, Primo. But I take a recommendation of actually going back and listening to some of our shows because I've put it on record already here. That I feel that this defense is better than the Super Bowl 50 defense. That's why they're going to be all these other offenses in the league are going to be locked down in cell block D. I'm just saying.
Cell block D, baby. And to add to that, Juan, I don't need this defense to be better than the Super Bowl 50 defense or the Seahawks defense or the 2000 Ravens defense or the 85 Bears defense. We're not looking to be better than any one of those. We want to be just as good as, to be mentioned in the same breath as all of those fantastic defenses is what I need our guys to achieve. Okay. So just them going out there and shutting it down and making it known, putting themselves out there, because for the longest, since for the last, and I keep forgetting to send Libre that video that I saw last week, and I'm pretty sure I probably lost it, if I'm being honest with you. But for the last 9 years, guys, the Broncos have been the laughing stock of not just the AFC West, the punching bag of the AFC West per se, but just like they were spiraling. And just when we thought that we finally caught a break with bringing Russell Wilson to town, that just drove us even further down into the ground. And it just felt like there was no remedy, that there was no way to come out of it. And then lo and behold, here comes Sean Payton. Here comes a whole new ownership. Here comes Bo Nix. Here comes Nick Bonito. Here comes Jonathan Cooper. Here come all these players that could have easily just turned it in or turned around and went somewhere else, but they didn't. They stayed the course. They wrote it out. And I, for one, am really, really excited about this season. Now, I will say the only thing that I kind of, if I could change anything from last year, Libre, I think I would have tried to swing for the fences in terms of trying to bring, making Vic Fangio my first choice to come to Denver. Now, there's been so many rumors as to why he didn't come, because he didn't want to be the defensive coordinator because he was already coach here. Maybe it was the Broncos, maybe it was Fangio. We can go back and forth all day with that. But in either case, you saw what he did for the Eagles. He took a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, who the year before that were literally chumps, and in one season turned them into champs. Okay. So I'm expecting Vance Joseph to do that with this defense. If he fumbles the bag, Libre, and we take a step back from where we were last year or the year before that, after that Miami game, then yeah, I want Vance Joseph out of here, because there is no excuse for Vance Joseph to make any of the mistakes he's made the last 2 seasons, per se, in certain games that the Broncos have lost, and go backwards instead of going forwards with this team.
I agree with you with that. I don't feel I think with what we had on our defensive side, we were lacking in depth and all that. But what this team, the grit, and it comes down to with Sean Payton being the helmet of the team itself, but bringing that toughness. And now that we have filled the voids that we were missing from last year, trust me, Vance Joseph is going to take this team, this defensive side of the ball, to the next level. And I'm super excited for that part of it itself. He's already got the new weapons itself. We got the rookie Baron. We've got Greenlaw. We have Tufanga. Like, we've gotten the pieces that we need that's going to take us to the next level. And again, that's what took us out of the playoffs last year. It was because we didn't have the true depth that we needed for us to get deep into the place itself. But now that we have the pieces in place for this, Vance Joseph is going to get this team, as I mentioned before on the network itself, is that this defense is going to be the #1 defense in the league itself, surpassing the Eagles itself. So that's going to be exciting. And we're going to have a true test as well, because we play Philadelphia this year. So we're going to see who has a better defense that day. And I feel like even though that's in Philly, the Broncos are going to show up and show out.
You know what? I got to be honest with you guys, and about another thing going around while we're on the subject of, defense. People that message me about what I thought about the Broncos going after Micah Parsons. That would be a dream, but the asking price that Jerry Jones is asking for is way too rich. It is way too rich for the Broncos to commit to. Do I want to win a Super Bowl? Yes, I do. I want to win. I want this team to win multiple Super Bowls, but giving up something of that caliber again, I mean, we're just barely, we're 1 year out from getting out of 100% out of the entire Russell Wilson ordeal, and that's still viewed as the second worst trade in the history of the NFL. Second, with Deshaun Watson literally standing at the top of the mountain. Thank God for that, at least.
So I have comments in my in TikTok right now, and it has from my buddy Bronco Tiz. He goes, Nick Bonito over Parsons every day.
Yeah. So again, I think, to be honest with you guys, before I turn it over to Libre, I think that this whole Michael Parsons thing, I think it's just a media circus because there's just too many things going on. And I think that Jerry Jones knows that he's got Michael Parsons by the you-know-what and that he really doesn't have any leeway. Just the fact of what the Cowboys are asking for is literally what makes me believe that he's not serious about trading him. Now, if there's a team out there that's really willing to gamble their future and give up that asking price and not learn from what the Browns and the Broncos have done with players, I'm not saying that Michael Parsons isn't worth any of that, but it is a really, really expensive gamble. And the Cowboys have the bigger chance of winning that out if they go through with it. Now, the Cowboys themselves, to me, they're going to be terrible. They honestly are. I don't care what you guys say about Dak. They're playing in the division with the Eagles. The Eagles are more than likely looking to run the NFC South, the NFC entirely again. They're definitely candidates to go back to the Super Bowl, strong candidates, I should say. So I just think this whole thing is smoke and mirrors. I'm pretty sure Michael Parsons is not happy playing for the Cowboys, and he knows that there's no future with that team. There really isn't. As long as Jerry Jones wheels a pen, the Cowboys are just going to be terrible. So he just wants to get paid a crap load of money. So even if he's going to be stuck on a bad team, at least he's going to be rich doing so.
No, I agree with you 100% on that. With Michael Parsons, like, yes, like you were saying, like, it's an ideal. If we can get him, that would be a gift. But the thing is, to what we're going to have to give up for him is not going to be worth the rewards of it. And the type of cancer that's already there, like, yes, Jerry Jones has him just because of the contract that he signs. So every day that he's away from the facility, like, he's getting fined daily. So, and he's okay to be fined or whatever. If he's going to sit out all year long, I feel like he's going to be able to do it and write out his contract and go into free agency and whatnot. But there is going to be a team that's going to be needing his services at some point where they're going to say, all right, let's do whatever we need to do to get this trade done. Like, you know, and then eventually, like, it's going to be pretty easy, I think, to get done, because eventually it's like, what are the Cowboys going to do? They have to replace him. Let's get something for nothing, because they'll end up doing something. They'll trade him, even if it happens to be late in the year by trade deadline, and getting a 5th round, 4th round pick, just so they can get something for nothing, because they don't want to go out and not get nothing for him because of the quality of player he is. But somebody will definitely overpay for him. I did see this thing on TikTok. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but I saw that it was actually a Broncos creator saying, all right, Micah Parsons is out there demanding a trade. And then he goes, this is who I feel that he's going to be going to. And they said it's going to be the Green Bay Packers. And actually thinking about it, it's like, I could actually see that happening. Like, and that could be before even the season starts. You never know what could happen. But I could see him playing in Green Bay.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was also going to say, since we're talking about not likely going to happen, Terry McLaurin, because Corley, if that would have happened before the Sutton signing, there may have been a chance. But with the Broncos going in all in on Sutton, McLaurin is looking for a big money contract.
Oh, and yeah, he is.
There's no way that the Broncos pay McLaurin that much money, and you have 2 big contracted wide receivers on the line. That's just way too much of a bigger gamble. If McLaurin does go anywhere, it's probably going to be another more. I just can't. He's going to
go to the Cowboys.
I just can't believe it, if I'm being honest with you, because I mean, they literally went to the NFC Championship last year. So the fact that McLaurin even wants out of Washington, there's a good chance that he could go to a team that takes a huge step back. And yeah, he's a big fish in a small pond per se, but he could be on a team that doesn't even get to the freaking to the playoffs. So just for chasing the bag. Again, Libre, just so you know, and ladies and gentlemen out there, the Broncos are not going to get McLaurin. No. If he wasn't looking for a big contract and the Broncos hadn't signed Sutton yet, then I would say definitely. Hell, they may have probably used Sutton as a trade piece to acquire his services, kind of like a trade-off.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Libre, no McLaurin.
I agree with you 100%. And again, like those are the type of players that we don't need here because they're making a distraction that's unnecessary. And that's what I loved what Cortland Sutton did. Even though he was in the talks about not doing anything, but guess what? He was in the building at the beginning of training camp. He was here and so forth. He might have done like some of the days before it was open to the public and everything, that he might have not done some of the workouts or some of the 7-on-7 stuff. But let me tell you, while we were there that first Friday for camp, he was out there. He was out there running routes, going out and catching passes. And that's why I feel like the Broncos said, you know what? Look, this is a true professional. We're getting you out here. You're out here. We're going to go ahead and give you that money. This is the security that you're going to need. And he's got that security. And like some of these other guys, just like Garrett Bowles, like what he just said, you know what? I'm not here about making the money. I want to go out there and get that ring. So now the next contract that comes up for Sutton is going to be a team-friendly contract where he's like, you know what? You guys paid me. I got my money. Now let's continue to have some good football here, and we're going to dominate the next 10 years, So I feel like if that's something that he wants to have done, he's going to do that for us.
I wholeheartedly agree. But let's get back to the subject about preseason this Saturday, Libre. What is it? Is there like a certain thing or a certain player that you want to see from in the very first preseason game to see what he has to bring to the table for this team?
Oh, absolutely. It's RJ Harvey all day long. I want to see what he's going to be, what he's all about. I saw what he done in college. I saw his highlights and all that. But now that you're in the league, let's see what you have, because I want to see what we're going to expect from you for this upcoming season. Today, the Broncos did release the unofficial depth chart, and it has J.K. Dobbins as the number one on the depth chart itself, which is okay by me. Like, really, for these guys, for the running back position itself, it doesn't bother me that they're 1, 2, whatever the case may be, because they're going to be the two-headed monster of this offense for us when we run the game. So with that part itself, I can care less whoever's 1 or 2, because they're going to have equal amount of playing time that I feel like. But going back to this upcoming Saturday, I want to see lots of RJ Harvey out there just running it down San Francisco's throat.
I want to say that although RJ Harvey is someone I do want to see, but for some reason, I want to see what Jahdae Barron can do in this defense. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we're not going to see PS2, and if we do, it'll probably be for like a drive or maybe just the first quarter. Just to kind of, it'll more than likely be like the number ones out there just to kind of get their feet wet per se. Because what we also don't want to do is we don't want to do what we did 5 years ago, and it's like none of the starters played, not a snap, not a drive, nothing, and then they literally walked into Seattle rusty as all hell.
I was at that game 3 years ago when it happened. That was the first year Russ was here, and you could see it. Like, it was pretty bad.
It was 3 years ago. Sorry, not 5. But yeah, it was bad, and like I remember seeing, like, it kind of looked like it felt like a preseason game, but it wasn't. And you could see the rust. And even the Seattle team was like, yeah, you guys should have practiced instead of standing there playing cheerleader for the last 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, it was not good. So, but for me, I want to see Jahdae Barron. I want to see what he can go out there. I hope he gets a pick 6. Because I'm trying to remember PS2's rookie year, he got his first pick 6 was against Minnesota. So it was a fantastic sight to see. It really gave me hype and inspiration to all the haters out there who were kind of looking down on us and saying that the Broncos messed up not going after Justin Fields in that same draft class, which, by the way, Justin Fields is having a really, really terrible time at Jets training camp. The numbers I saw for him today were not good, Libre.
And again, going back to, did the Broncos make the right decision at that time? And as you can see, they did. You know, it's something that I'm glad that the scouting team was out there and saying, you know what, we're going to pass on him. Like, don't take him. We don't need a quarterback at this point. And I'm glad that they didn't, because, you know, he's struggling out here with these NFL teams right now. And it's tough it's hard to say, but again, you can never know with some of these guys as well. Some of them are going to hit, some of them are not. So it's even with some of the guys that we've gotten in the first or second round itself, like, you know, some have worked out, some haven't. You just never know.
I think the most amazing thing for us, Libre, as Broncos fans, and the thing that's really, at least for me anyway, I don't want to speak for you, but for me, is kind of seeing what Sean Payton is going to do in his third year going into this. The offense, like just the hype videos alone, the last couple of weeks have been simply amazing, and just literally crediting everything that Sean Payton has done right since coming to Denver and just riding the ship. And I've also heard bad things about JJ McCarthy, Libre, where I don't know if the video I saw earlier today was actually true or not, but supposedly at the end of that video, they said that somebody at Vikings camp were starting to regret letting Sam Darnold walk in free agency, where he really should have been where he was last year as the backup to JJ. So, but again, that's to be expected. McCarthy's coming off of an injury. He didn't get to play at all last year. So this is literally his rookie year. So those mistakes are going to be there. So I think Vikings fans are jumping the gun a little bit. Their biggest worry right now in that division, I would probably say, is Jordan Love. Jared Goff. Yeah. We saw what the Ben Johnson-less offense looks like on the Hall of Fame game. It did not look good.
It was pretty bad. Yeah.
So the Lions are going to definitely have a lot of work to do to try to contend. The Bears, Caleb Williams looked sharp like one day, and then the rest, it was just interception and bad. And hell, at one point, the Bears players got sent home because they were just so bad. So the Ben Johnson Bears are probably going to have to sit out a whole season in terms of trying to get all the kinks and stuff. And the hype around Caleb Williams hopefully will die down, because I am so tired of hearing about that guy being the one generational talent and all that mess. But
I think I sent you a video as well with him at camp where it was just the accuracy. So they throw it into a net. I don't know if you don't know about this. So quarterbacks will throw the ball into a net, and they have three different areas to throw at: one low, one medium, and one high. And there was a point where Caleb Williams was just throwing the ball to this net. He only made one, and then he hit the ball boy or whatever that was on the net itself, but he kept on throwing it and missed every single time. And then after he was done throwing, he was just like throwing a fit out there in practice. And I just couldn't help but laugh. And I go, and somebody there on their team recorded that and then posted it, like, which is crazy, because that's it's nuts. And again, I don't know if it was somebody on the team or if they had open practice as well, like how the Broncos do, and it was just one of the fans. But I saw that and I was like, Caleb Williams really needs to get his stuff together, because he's going to be out of the league quick. Just like they got rid of Justin Fields, they're going to get rid of him just as fast.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and for Denver, all eyes are going to be on them. Starting Saturday, all eyes are going to be, listen to what I tell you. The Broncos are going to be the talk of the town for the next 3 weeks in terms of RJ Harvey, Jahdae Barron, and Pat Bryant. I think those are the three names that you're probably going to hear a lot of. And then, unfortunately, I forget the names of the other players that were drafted.
Caleb Lohner.
Yeah, thank you. They're definitely going out there. He might get outshined by Evan Ingram.
Oh, he will. Yeah.
Which I think if they play Evan Ingram this preseason, he's going to light it up, because he's going to look like the next coming of Gronkowski or whatever, or Shannon Sharp, I should say, out there. But what we need to see is we need the Broncos to go out there and put their foot on these teams' throats. And yes, we know it's going to be 2s and 3s, and it doesn't matter if they win or lose. These guys are out there playing for a job. All the guys that you see this weekend, except for the number ones. But the 2s and the 3s, there's a lot of hard decisions that are going to have to be made in 3 weeks, Libre. And I'm pretty sure that we are going to get at least one name that's going to shock Broncos country. That's like, wow, this guy didn't make it. And then obviously they're going to get picked up by another team before kickoff. So
it happens every year.
Yeah, it happens every year. And vice versa. Another team cuts a really good player, and then maybe they'll come to Denver and be on the B or the C team. So it goes both ways, or stay on the practice squad in some cases. But we just need to see what the Broncos offense can do. Now, Jarrett Stidham, he doesn't have any. His job's not in trouble, because I can't even tell you who the quarterback behind Stidham is, because it's not Zach Wilson anymore. He went to Miami.
Well, the third guy is his name is Sam. He's I think another rookie.
Oh, wasn't he the undrafted guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So I don't think Jarrett Stidham's job is in trouble. However, with Stidham being in the league as long as he has, he should have little to no problem beating out these teams. So because you never know, maybe that Sam guy goes out there and lights it up, and maybe he does.
I was at practice.
Mm-hmm.
Sam was not throwing well, so
okay.
I'm just letting it out and let it know. Like, he's only there to try to help create the competition and so forth. But we already know that we're going to be he's going to end up getting cut. He might get practice squad itself, but it's going to be Bo and Jarrett Stidham as who's making the team. But yes, Sam, like, he's just there to try to compete, try to get these guys better. He knows that. I think he knows that that's what his job is, and hopefully that it is where he's understanding that he might get a practice squad spot itself. But yeah, it's not that accurate. Like, I understand he's here in the NFL now, but he's really not that good.
How much of Bo Nix do you think we'll get to see this weekend, Libre?
I say 1, maybe 2 series. That's it. 1 for sure. But I was gonna go with that. Like, what I love about this aspect of it, like, game 2 is here in Denver, so for the following Saturday, and game 2 of the preseason is normally when you see more of the starters, because that's more of a ramp up for the real season. Because of week 3, you're not seeing any of those starters at all, and I'm happy that I'll be here next weekend versus Arizona, and I'm going to be able to see at least the starters for the first half of the game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Week 3 of preseason football is literally just players that are on the bubble. Like, It is your last chance. Because believe it or not, and I had this conversation with an Uber passenger a while ago, some of these players literally don't get to suit up again until next year, because they're just in the pool of, like, practice squad players or undrafted or in case of an emergency type of thing. So it is really important for them to go out there and literally stand out. And if they don't stand out with this team, hopefully they'll catch the eye of another team, and then they'll come in and, be the backup or again, be like on the B and C team side of a team. So we definitely won't see, your Bo Nixes, your Dre Greenlaws, or your Tafangas. I want to say that maybe we might see the rookies, maybe week 3, maybe for a drive or something, but but I think that would be a little bit worried if we do see that, Libre, because then it's like, if you're risking putting them out there for a non-meaningful, I mean, and it's not for them, just to kind of get a feel and the speed and the hit and the pain and all that, but it's like, why would you put them out there in a game that really, by that time anyway, has no meaning for the Broncos?
But I also say for that part as well, especially the rookies, get them all the experience that they need going into this upcoming season as well. So we need to get them, their bodies ready for this upcoming grueling season, because this is the first time that they're going to be playing 17 games. And that's just regular season. The most they probably played was that's probably the most if they went up to the championship game itself. So some of them only played 14, 15 games, if that. But you need to go out there and let them play 17 plus games, just so that they get their bodies right and so that they understand what the NFL is all about now.
Well, when you put it that way, you're right, Libre. But at the same time, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I get a little superstitious when I see something like that, But at the same, I don't know. It's just weird. As long as they're not out there all game, per se, especially like a guy like RJ Harvey, because we already know that he is going to be the one that replaces Javonte Williams. So, yes, I want him to get experience, but at the same time, the worst thing that can happen, and knock on wood, that it doesn't happen, is that, him or Jahdae Barron or any of the other rookies gets an injury and they're not able to suit up healthy for week 1. And week 1, guys, we are playing the Titans, and Cam Ward, from what I've heard, Libre, has not been looking good at camp.
I haven't seen a lot of news coming out of that camp itself. But again, I keep on saying this, and I see a lot of Titan fans here on TikTok as well, and just in general, that they think that Cam Ward is the next coming Tom Brady, even though he was the number 1 pick overall, they think that he's the savior there in Tennessee. Trust me, like, he has not seen a defense that the Broncos have right now, ever. And it sucks that the NFL put this on him, and being his very first NFL game is against this great defense. It's gonna be a tough day for him, and I'm gonna be glad that I'm gonna be able to witness it live. So I might be in Denver PD talking about some type of murder or whatever that might be happening on my eye, because of what I witnessed.
I mean, gosh darn it. The only thing that I probably won't appreciate at the end of Saturday is when the Broncos beat the 49ers and they beat Kyle Shanahan. It'll be in a game that doesn't count. Although the Broncos do own a victory over Kyle Shanahan and the Jimmy Garoppolo 49ers, where we beat them by 1 point.
1. Yep.
On Sunday Night Football. Was it Sunday Night Football? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Sunday Night Football.
It was a
on
Sunday
prime
Night Football.
Time.
It was week 3 of that. And I remember that because I took my uncle to the game. This was going back, 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years
3
ago?
3 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. It was like maybe 4 years, not 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, me and my uncle were out there. We were tailgating, and we ended up bumping into a San Francisco 49er all tailgate area. And they were bumping some good music, some good Mexican music. So we just went in, walking in. It was just me and him, all Broncos. We're the only Broncos that were there at the time. Come in, we started just dancing, bailando y todo. And you know what? They welcomed us in because, they're like, hey, we're on your turf right now, but we're all here for a good time. And it was good, and it was good friendly competition, and the game was actually really good and competitive all the way to the end, because I do remember that game.
I only remember I was watching it at work, and I was clutching my pearls, as they say. And I was like, if you can let the Broncos walk out of this game with a 1-point win. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in Vegas lost their money that night, because Denver was definitely not favored to win. It was supposed to be Kyle Shanahan and the wild 49ers. And I wasn't that much of a gambler then like I am now, but I wish I would have bet on that game. That's all I'm going to say.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. You know what's funny? That now that you say betting and whatnot, I got a thing in the mail from Bets. What is it? Sports Bet or something like that. I don't even know, because I don't do any sports betting anymore. I used to when it first came out and legal here in Colorado, but I made my big win, cashed out, and haven't placed another bet yet. But I got a mailer in today, and it was like all covered. And it says important information for Elias and so forth, aka Bronco Libre. And I'm like opening it up, and it's for all the NFL teams, all college. He goes, football season is just here, and it gives a schedule for each team so that you can go in there. And I was like, put in the line, what the line's going to be, what the spread's going to be, like the over under and all that, so you can write it in yourself. I'm like, dang, like I could see actually people doing this, because that you see it on stuff, and that's hardcore bettors, and that's what they're doing, like with the the trifectas or whatever the case may be with the betting. But I was like, this would be good for someone, just not for me. I just like this. I can see the schedules now. It's going to be easier for me to look at schedules, but just to go out there and do betting, it's like, it's just crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Libre and I have finally reached the 1 hour mark, which means that we are ready to get into some, well, because it's the end of regulation, it is overtime. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the show where Libre and I let our hair down figuratively, and we just kind of shoot at the wind in terms of speaking whatever's on our mind. More than likely not going to be football related, but if we can find a way to bring it back to the Broncos, we definitely will. So, Libre, if it's okay with you, I'd like to start because there's been something that's been chomping at the bit for me lately, and I wish I really wanted to upload the video and show it to you, but I couldn't, because I don't know how to blur people's faces and license plates out.
Gotcha.
So the other day when I was driving, I had a passenger while I was doing Uber, and we were stuck in traffic, like congestion. And I don't know why. And I'm pretty sure they do this in Colorado. Hell, I'm pretty sure they do this everywhere. But people were just riding down the emergency lane, just flying, and it wasn't an emergency. Because we saw, they must have had like a motorcycle track meet or something, because we saw motorcycles flying down there, a guy doing a wheelie. Got lucky he didn't pop his busted his face. But anyway, there was this one lady in a red SUV who just went flying. She had to have been doing like 40, 50 miles an hour, just shoom. And then when we caught up to her like 20 minutes later, she was on the side of the road because she hit somebody. And they were exchanging insurance info. And I rolled down my window and I was like, that's what you get for speeding. And then my passenger rolled down her window. She's like, yeah, slow down, you F and B.
Yeah, that's crazy. But you know what? I agree with you 100%. I think that just happens everywhere. Is that people are just in a hurry just to get somewhere. And they ended up, look what happened. You get into a wreck. Now you're slowed down. And look, you pass them up, and now you're further along than they are. It happens here. We don't have like an emergency lanes here in Colorado. We just have like HOV lanes. But people use that HOV lane as, I can drive 15 to 20 miles more than what the supposed speed limit is. And that's not really and that's not true. You can't do that. You still have to follow the speed limit itself. But I see it all the time as well here. I'm just like, damn, like there's nothing that you need to get to somewhere in a rush. Nothing is life-threatening for you to do that, unless you're trying to rush to get to the hospital. But at the times that you normally see that, you're not trying to get to the hospital. You're just trying to get somewhere in a hurry. But guess what? You're going to end up causing a wreck, ruining somebody else's day because of your fault and being such an idiot.
Yeah, and the thing that really irritated me, Libre, is that all these people that were flying down the emergency lane had their hazards on. Like, that infuriated me even more, because I was like, that's not what those are intended for. Just because you have your hazards on does not mean you can fly down the emergency lane. Like, oh my God. And that lady is so lucky that the traffic was moving, because if we would have had to stop, I would have literally given that lady an earful. And she is lucky, because we saw the damage, and the worst of it was like her front driver's side. It got kind of smashed in, and I didn't see the guys because the guys was on the other side.
Oh, okay.
And they had pulled over to the side of the road. They were finally using the emergency lane for what exactly it's for, which is a freaking emergency.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It was like, dude, people don't do that. Don't speed. I know you don't want to be stuck in traffic. I don't want to be stuck in traffic neither. But when you do something like that, you endanger yourself. You endanger somebody who obviously didn't see you coming. That's why they hit you. And I'm pretty sure that person was probably going to do the same freaking thing.
Oh, good. Probably.
We were all just sitting there moving slowly, watching motorcycles and other people literally speeding us by. It's one thing if you use it to like get out to the nearest exit, that's fine. But I literally saw these people flying past the exit, just going down the lane. So yeah, that just pisses me off. That
No,
pisses me
same. Well, and like I think when I think about it, when my kids were younger, I think that's when I was I was more like cautious and be pissed off at that point, just because you have young kids in the car. Now my kids are grown. My oldest is almost he's going to be a senior starting next week. Finally. But yeah, now I'm like, can you take him out? No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's just slow down, people. Like your life, anybody else's life that you put in danger is not worth it. You're going to get to the same spot. I guaranteed you probably at about the same time if you just go with the flow of traffic. So yeah, that's just slow down. I watch too much YouTube as well to seeing all these accidents and all that. Like even on A&E, like it's like customer wars or road what is it called? Road rage or road wars, it's called, I think it is, on A&E. So yeah, A&E, come and sponsor us.
Come and sponsor Broncos Talk.
That's right. But yeah, let's see. Oh, look at who we have here. The biggest, the baddest. Broncos World Order coming in. What's happening?
Libre.
BWO. Let's go.
Shout out to Broncos World Order. We are powered by Broncos World Order. For those that didn't know, that are joining us after the fact. Shout out to you guys watching us throughout Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Because I think we have your Twitch account on here too, Libre. So we have people watching us from a lot of different places, and it is just fantastic.
So one thing, now that he brings up the Denver Broncos Latino. So again, like I have mentioned here before, I have started a group here in Denver called Denver Broncos or Puro Broncos de Denver. And I've been working with the Broncos in Espanol itself. Today, the Broncos in Espanol did announce that they're going to be doing a watch party for the Charger game. So week 3, you just have to go onto the Broncos in Espanol social medias. On Facebook, it's called Broncos Fanáticos. Go on there, and their tickets are free. So go in there, get tickets. They're just trying to get a number. It's going to be a nice, huge party. The Broncos did reach out to me earlier today, letting me know about the watch party itself and making sure to see if I was going to go. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to make sure that happens. So if you are going to be here in town, if you're flying through, or if you are here in town, please grab a couple of tickets, come over, say hi. I'll be there. Part of it, let's take pictures, let's do all that, and let's enjoy a Broncos win when they play the Los Angeles Chargers.
You're getting your teams crossed there, boss.
Well, the thing is, I was trying to not say San Diego because I had somebody at work earlier today say, "Oh, you mean San Diego?" I go, "No, LA."
I haven't heard anybody say San Diego outside of Shannon Sharp in the longest.
That's because you're in Chicago. And everyone here, like, I'll be like, if you ever talk to anybody and say if you're here for the Chargers game, they'll say San Diego. They'll keep on saying San Diego. It's just because it's so instilled to us. They're the San Diego Chargers, So it's just hard to say LA Chargers.
LA.
It's the LA, the lesser team there in LA.
I don't know if I asked you this, Libre, but do you get to go to the preseason games for free because you're a season ticket holder, or do you have to pay separate?
It's part of my package that I pay for the year, so it's included with everything. So we get a total of 10 games. So we get 10 games itself. So we have, like this year, the Broncos have 9 regular season games here at home. So I have that game plus the 1 preseason. So next year I'll still have 10 games, but part of what I'm paying for are 2 preseason games. So and that's the only thing that's the hard part when I'm paying for these expensive tickets that now I'm paying for 2 preseason games, or one of the games where I'm not even going to see starters at all. So it's part of it, but again, it comes in but when the playoffs come, I do have to pay extra for those playoff tickets. That's not included with what I paid for the season. But I do, and they give us the first priority to actually purchase my tickets, because if you don't do that, then they'll just put your tickets up to the public once they release tickets.
You know what I just thought of, Libre? I'm going on vacation tomorrow, and it reminded me of because every year me and my family, we go to Wisconsin. So we go to the Dells, and every time I walk around with my Broncos jersey, like I just get like these. They don't do it directly because obviously I scare people, but you can definitely feel the stares and the couple people always yell "Go Pack Go" in a crowd of like 100, so I can't see who said it, but it just.
It's because they're still salty from Super Bowl 32. That's why.
Or when the Broncos destroyed Aaron Rodgers 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah. And that too. Or
man.
Even when we did it, last year or 2 years ago as well, when we beat them.
Yeah, I got my Broncos beach towel, taking that with me, and I wear it like a cape.
Are you going to Lake Michigan?
Nah, dude, I haven't been to Lake Michigan in God knows how long. Like I'm not a big fan of the beach because once you step in sand, it gets everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And it's literally, unless you wash yourself out damn near completely, like it gets in your shoes, it gets in your socks, it gets all over your body.
It's like herpes. You can't get rid of it.
It makes you itchy.
Itchy.
Itchy. So no, like we used to go and do like cookouts and stuff when I was a kid, but it was always on a holiday like the 4th of July, Memorial Day, and even not on holidays like Lake Michigan, it gets full because Mexicans are always partying every weekend during the summer. Have to take advantage of the nice weather, and downtown parking. Whatever you can find. So we always tried to make sure we had everything, because if you had to go to the store to go get something, when you came back, your parking spot was gone, bro. And we had to be there early, like 5-6 in the morning, to get our spot and camp out and set up the grill. And, we kind of like what we do for our picnic now, but we don't do it at the lakefront anymore. We just do it at one of those forest preserves we reserve. That way we don't have to worry about parking. We don't have to worry about finding a spot and garbage and cleaning up and all that mess, because we already do that ahead of time. So it's a really nice thing to do. Don't get me wrong, Lake Michigan is beautiful. I've been lucky enough to see it from both sides, from the Chicago side, and when I went to Detroit, I saw it from the Indiana/Michigan side, and it's really nice. I've never actually thought about seeing Chicago from the other end of the lake.
Right. So because we travel, me and my group of friends will travel to one away game, and I think it was in 2019 is when the Broncos played out there, and it was week 2, and we actually rented an Airbnb right off the lake too, which was nice. So the only problem with that is like they don't have Ubers in Green Bay. They don't have all of that stuff because of how small the city is. So we actually, and what's the good thing is we all rented cars, because I had friends that flew into Milwaukee, and I actually flew into Chicago, and I got a rental car from Chicago and drove up to Green Bay. But we stayed in an Airbnb right off the lake, and I thought that was really cool. And it's like we had a nice little private area as well, so we didn't have to deal with the crowd. So, but again, it's early September, still like that. It was still a little rainy. It had lots of mosquitoes as well during that time frame. So we didn't spend a lot of time out there. It was just like one day maybe from the weekend that we were there. But again, we went exploring. We did all that in Green Bay, and there's not a lot to do in Green Bay, but the surrounding areas, like we found all the different places to go eat and all that, and which was nice.
I was kind of like flabbergasted when you said that there's no Ubers in Green Bay. I would have never thought about that.
Yeah, well, like where we were staying at, to get an Uber from there to to Green Bay, because we were just outside of the actual Green Bay of this, like the city limits. There was like some, but it's like 1 or 2 drivers. It's not like a lot. And the surcharges on there was ridiculous. Like one of my friends like tried to do a Uber, and like because of the surcharges and the limited number of people that are actually doing it there in that area, was like over $100. And it was like it was like a 30-minute drive or whatever, but like still $100 like in this area. Like we're like, no, like here, let me get ready real quick and we'll go and do whatever. And because I had to rent a car, and I was like, let's go ahead and do that.
And that worked out in the long run for you, huh?
Oh, absolutely. I almost missed my flight though, because returning back to Chicago and the traffic on Chicago was ridiculous.
Yeah, our traffic is. I tell to a lot of people that fly in. I say when you land in Chicago, doesn't matter which airport, Midway or O'Hare, but O'Hare specifically because O'Hare is an international airport. I always tell people when you check the rideshare apps, doesn't matter if it's Uber or Lyft, if it says that it takes more than 45-ish minutes to get to downtown Chicago, take the train.
Mm-hmm.
Do not get into an Uber because you will literally be stuck in traffic for over an hour. And some of the people I've had to pick up over the years or had to go to like a conference or a business meeting or something or other. And there's no shortcuts. There's no can you move faster? We're bumper to bumper traffic. And
you can move faster. Take the train.
Yeah, or turn on my hazards and ride down the emergency lane.
Or that.
And oh wow, we have a comment in chat, my friend. This guy. Thank you so much for chiming in, brother. He says, and in general, I feel like Uber can be expensive even if you're just traveling a few miles. That is so true. Okay, I have taken Ubers as a passenger whenever I travel and I don't feel like renting a car because I don't feel like I need to. So when I was in Vegas, for example, last year, I didn't rent a car. I just Ubered, and I met a lot of really nice people, fellow Uber drivers, from different age ranges, mind you, and they were all awesome, and they were all pretty honest with me, and I really appreciate honestly, especially being my first time in Vegas, and being shown around. But when people ask me why Uber is expensive or what a surge is, basically it's when if there's a high demand, like let's say for example you're in an area where like there's a festival or a big party or something like that, and there's not enough drivers, then Uber will create a surge, which means they jack up the price as add an extra incentive on top. So it'd probably be like a bonus of like, if you have to pay $100, Uber's going to put in like 28. So it'll be 128. And then that gets drivers to drive over there and try to pick up that incentive. But it only lasts for like no less than like 2-3 minutes. And you have to be able to get it, because if you drive out there, it'll just disappear, and then you won't get the incentive once enough drivers have met up there to meet the demand. So that's how Uber works in terms of trying to create a surge and move drivers around. So he said it costed them $40+ just to travel 20 minutes. Again, when you go to concerts or sporting events, you got to get ready to pay for something like that because the demand just goes up the roof. And I always tell people what I recommend is you should walk as far as you can. If you're in a surge area, you should walk. Just keep walking as far as you can. When you get out of the surge area and you get out of like that crowded traffic, then you should call for a car, and then they're more likely to get to you. But if you're standing outside of Soldier Field, let's say, for example, and you want somebody to kind of get you, you're going to be waiting there for a while. They're going to be waiting for a while, and time is money. So if I'm sitting there, I'm not making any more money because I have to wait to come get you and then take you to where you're going. And, it's kind of like a lose-lose on both situations. Now, if you can't walk, I get that. Then you have to wait. That's something different. But if you have the ability to walk, then you should definitely consider moving up and just waiting for those surge prices to die down. Yeah,
it's been a while since I've actually taken an Uber. it's because of the pricing. Because sometimes here in Denver, especially because like the Rockies are downtown. They have once a game is ending or whatever, like the surge prices goes up, and it's like ridiculous. There's one night, like, and I live about 5 miles, 6 miles away from downtown, so there was one night, like literally, like just to go the 5-6 miles, like $89 just to get from downtown to my house, and I'm like, forget that, like, and outside, let me just wait 30 minutes or so. Let me just hang out, whatever. Sometimes the prices will drop, it'll be fine, but it's just because of those surge prices, which goes out and it's just so ridiculous. But that's their business model. That's what they do. They have a supply and demand, and some people are willing to pay it, and some people are cheap like me, and because all my money goes to Broncos.
Now, when you say cheap, Libre, and I don't know if we've talked about this on this show, but when are you cheap on the tip when you go out to eat?
Of course I'm not. No, when I go out and to dinner or whatever, it's a minimum 20%. Unless it's really, really bad service. But even with that, it's not or if it's the food or whatever, it's like, I can't blame the waitress. They didn't make the food. So, or the waiter or whatever, like that's their job. That's what they're doing. I'm out there at least minimum 20%. If the service is bad, I'll probably go down to 15%, but they're still going to get a good tip. I'm not going to stiff them and say, you know what, forget it. You're not going to get nothing. I can't do that. I worked in the service industry as well for about 10 years as a grill master at BD's Mongolian Grill, actually. So, which is no longer here in Denver, unfortunately, but I know it's right there. They're still in Chicago area. And, but yeah, I know what it's about. I know how it's done. A grill master for almost 10 years. I'm, assistant manager there. So I know exactly how it is. So like, that's why I'll never, not tip a person. Like I might be pretending like, oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that because of this, but I still give them this tip.
And I, basically, this guy jumps in to end the previous topic. He says, definitely, even here in Houston, if there's a sporting event, I just stay in to avoid any traffic. So very well said.
Or are you sure it's the traffic or the humidity?
Probably both. But to your point, this guy says, same. I try to tip regardless. 15% is the lowest I'll go. And I agree with you both. I've gotten bad service for waitresses over the years, but it has never been enough where I just didn't tip at all, or been one of those people who tips like $1 or something that's like super petty. Because I get it. Sometimes waitresses or waiters or servers or whatever you want to call them, they have a bad day. They have a bad shift. Sometimes they're overwhelmed. So you got to learn to read the room. There have been other times where it's just me and like a couple other people, and there's no reason because in my mind, when I go out to eat, like the clock, the mental clock is going off in my head. I time how long it takes you to get our menus, how you write down our order. The really experienced servers will repeat your order back at you to make sure that that's what it is. I time how much it takes for you to check up on us, to freshen our drinks. If the kitchen is running late, then they'll come over and say, everything okay? Kind of like trying to buy the kitchen time.
Oh, yeah.
So I always appreciate that. I don't hold it against them. That part I don't hold it against. They have it's not their fault that the kitchen is slammed or falling behind. But the fact that they're over there trying to compensate for it, I appreciate that, And at the same time, I've had servers that literally, one time, I swear to you, the ice in my cup literally melted completely before my server came over and said, hey, would you like another drink? I'm like, well, yeah, sure. And I even made the joke. I'm like, well, you're going to need some stronger ice cubes because he's melted, just to kind of say, hey, appreciate you, but, if you could check in on us a little bit and all that stuff. So, again, I think the best service I ever got was from this one lady. I don't remember her name. The only thing I remember about her was she was really pretty, and she had like the most tattoos I've ever seen on a woman in my life. But she came in, and we were with a party of like 8-9 of us, and we just ordered all of our food and drinks and everything. She didn't write any of it down. She was just like, got it. And I was like, you're not going to write any of this down? She's like, oh, I have a fantastic memory. Like, I won't forget anything. And I was like, you sure? And she's like, yeah. Like, you want to bet? I'm like, I'll double your tip if you come back and you bring us all of our orders and food and we won't say a thing. And sure enough, she came back. Our order was completely to the letter, complete, from the drink to the appetizers to the entrees.
You know why?
Shocked, dude. Amazed.
Is because first you're at Twin Peaks. That's why you got the great service. See, I already knew just off of that. And because she wants you to take a nice view of what was happening. She had her phone recording the whole time, the whole conversations. That's why she was able to do the whole order without any mistakes. Well, so she went back. Well,
I don't know where she would have kept the phone that day, but I can
I'm just kidding.
There was no phone. But this guy, he chimes in. He says, I used to work at Red Lobster, and man, the servers have it rough sometimes, so I always show them respect.
Of course.
That's totally fine. If a server's having a bad day, I definitely would want them to say, hey, look, might be a little bit late because I'm over here tending to this, and I got this table, and I'm dealing with a check. And if you give me some little update, I'll be fine. That way I don't have to turn around and keep looking, where the hell's my server? Where the hell's my server? It's so I don't want to think that you're not doing your job type of thing. So they don't have, and I know they don't have it easy. They have to deal, especially waitresses or servers at Twin Peaks, like you said. They must get hit on all the freaking time. So
all day. Like that's the crazy. That's all day long. And it comes with the territory, but again, it's like you have to have thick skin, I guess, for those waitresses to be there because some guys are just ruthless, man. And some might be pervy or whatever, but like they understand what they're getting themselves into when they're there. But again, they do deserve the respect that they are because they are still a person. They're not there. It's not a meat market. It's a restaurant. Just saying.
Exactly. That is a restaurant. But ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of today's segment of Broncos Overtime. Libre and I would like to say thank you to everybody that was here in the chat. Broncos World Order, Shai Vargas, Fanatic Dak, Jeremy Montoya, Juan Marquez, D-Rock, of course, and I think that was it. Shout out to our TikTok chat, this guy, Megs, I saw you pop in. Salutations. Thank you so much for being here. And we have everybody else that was here with us. Thank you guys so much for liking the live. I know that, and I had a comment that was filtered, so I'm pretty sure it was probably not a nice comment if TikTok filtered it. But those two fine TikTokers, they follow me when I stream playing Animal Crossing. So really, really appreciate for them coming over to the Broncos chat and just sitting and contributing to the chat. So thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate you guys stopping by and saying hi. And also to everybody that was in Libre's chat on TikTok as well. So before we head on out of here, we just want to remind you guys to please subscribe, share, and comment and like on this video on the Orange and Blue Network. If there's something we didn't answer or a question you want to ask us, please feel free to ask. Libre and I are always down and happy to talk about any and all things Broncos on there. So hit us up. MHRT, same thing. Subscribe, share, comment, and like on the videos there as well. Shout out to all of our good friends over at MHRT Network. Much respect. And again, comment, likes are very well appreciated. Shout out to our sponsor, Dubby. Please make sure you use the code NRWOB10 to get your 10% off on this and all of your favorite Dubby flavors. Shout out to Dubby for being a continued sponsor on this and all of the shows on the Orange and Blue Network. And shout out to the guys over at the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast for hooking you and me up for 10% off. For our audio listeners, please feel free to give us 5-star reviews wherever platform you're listening to us. If you want to send us a screenshot, Libre and I will be more than happy to shout you guys out here on the air live. My TikTok handle's there on the bottom. It's at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Viva los Broncos, the Spanish version of basically this show, unfortunately will not air again for a third time this week. We do apologize for not being on the air the last 2 weeks, but we promise you we will be back better and stronger than ever next Friday. I will make a formal announcement in Spanish, maybe even a video, if I can cut one while I'm out, just to kind of highlight and remind everybody and apologize once again for the delay and just not being there for you guys. But please know that us and whatever we got going on in our personal lives will always come first. And but we definitely will make it up to you guys. Please believe that. And if you have any comments or questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to either me or Libre, and we will be more than happy to answer them for you. And of course, Broncos Talk will be back at its regular schedule, normally scheduled program next Wednesday. We will have the results of the first pregame and preseason game, and then we will be looking forward to week 2 of said preseason game. What happened, Libre?
Si, senor.
Oh, I thought you might cut out again. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, and also shout out to Broncos World Order. We are powered by Broncos World Order, so please make sure you give them a follow, like on Facebook, the biggest Broncos group in all of social media. So please make sure you are part of greatness, just like the rest of us are. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head on out of here. He's Bronco Libre. I'm Adan Diaz. This has been Broncos Talk on the Orange and Blue and MHRT Network. So with that, we say so long and good night, everybody. And as we like to say, go Broncos!
Go Broncos! Let's go!
Some Kyle Shanahan and 49er butt.
Let's go.